All right, you guys, June 4th, Killer Klowns is coming out. One thing I just want to say right off the bat that this trailer does, straight from the beginning and all through the trailer, is how much like Friday the 13th, the vibes that Friday the 13th have, this game just gives off all that. It feels very Friday the 13th, and not in a bad way either. It looks like, just from the footage, that we're going to get that community vibe that Friday the 13th had. It just looks like great, silly fun, and I'm down for this 100%. Excited. Please let the gameplay measure up as well. Now, this is all looking exciting. They didn't mention anything about a beta, so I'm unsure if a beta is even happening. Maybe they decided to go against that, and in my thoughts, that could be kind of detrimental, especially if they're only testing this in-house with friends and family. They're going to need people to come in and really try to mess this game up to see if people can exploit certain things, you know, so we don't have a lot of the occurrences that happened in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, stuff like that, where people find something, you know, they find an exploit, or they find some really janky mechanic that kind of kills some of the gameplay. Now, getting into the trailer, very exciting trailer. The maps look like they are going to be pretty big. I'd say it looks like, you know, that they're going to be Jarvis-sized map, if you guys remember how big the Jarvis map was on Friday the 13th, except for just trees and forests, you're going to have a lot of stuff in between. You know, cabins, bathrooms, parts of the town. This map looks like it's just outside of the town in the rural area, probably near where the meteor landed in the movie. So you're going to have cabins, and it's going to feel very Friday the 13th, this map right here. The inside of the cabin, again, Friday the 13th vibes. The window looks the same. I don't know if you're going to be able to use the windows like in Friday the 13th. Probably not, but the cabin gives off a very Friday the 13th kind of vibe. And it makes sense because this is a campground, so I think that's kind of neat that they built like a campground area, you know, to where we can kind of harken back to some of the vibes that we got in Friday the 13th playing in this part of the map. And then it jumps into what looks like a fatality. I think that's really cool that the clowns are going to have Mortal Kombat type fatalities that they could do on the survivors. Would be really cool to see if Illfonic and Teravision come out with more fatalities for the clowns to do as time goes on. It'll probably be a microtransaction, but again, that's an optional thing if you want it. I'm totally fine with that. So basically what they're doing here is, just like Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th, Teravision is kind of implementing the same thing, just Killer Klowns flavored. So instead of a Jason Voorhees pushing somebody down and chopping off their arms and then putting a machete in their head, you have a much crazier, over-the-top, exaggerated clown fatality. So that's cool to see these in the game. Again, with the lasers, like we mentioned before in another video, I do like the whole kind of reverse Ghostbusters aesthetic with these weapons in particular. I'm sure there's going to be other weapons that do other things, but in particular, you can kind of hit them with these lasers, and you kind of have to do the Ghostbusters thing with the survivors there. Again, the kids running through the forest, Friday the 13th kind of vibe, like it's going to have that same kind of community vibe that Friday the 13th had, which is why a lot of people loved Friday the 13th. Now, I don't know how staged this is right here where the girl walks in and the clown's there, but it really would be kind of cool if you could stealth with the clowns and hide somewhere and somebody runs right into you and you're just standing there menacingly, or as menacing as a clown can get. But, you know, the kind of thing would be cool on both sides if clowns could practice stealth as well as the survivors practicing stealth, and then they can kind of use that strategically. Would be a very fun thing. Looks like what is another clown fatality here where a guy's getting electrocuted and you could see a skeleton. Very brutal cartoon mixed together. I love it. Now right here, you got a girl working on what looks like a teleporter. I guess she activates it and maybe it teleports them somewhere. I'm not sure where they get teleported. Maybe they get teleported closer to the tent or some random place where you can, I don't know, maybe it's a good way to escape or split up. I have no idea what's going on there with the teleporter, but I'm imagining that maybe either you teleport to some place closer to their tent or you can teleport to another teleporter that's around the map and you only have to turn it on one time. And then after that, it's a quicker process to teleport between the teleports that you've actually activated. That's my guess. I'm not sure how that works yet. Now, right here, you guys, this looks very familiar to the bridge, that tunnel that they came out of, you know? And I'm not sure if it is, but I like that the maps are big because now you can do things like this where Rudy shoots a friggin' grenade launcher off the top of the bridge down there at the others. This looks fun, man. This just looks like straight up fun. Got one of the survivors holding an axe right here, so there will be weapons, melee, both guns and regular melee weapons, of course. Now, there is a road, but I'm not sure if there's going to be drivable vehicles or not. That could be interesting as well. We haven't seen any hints of vehicles except for the ice cream truck. It would be really cool to see somebody driving the ice cream truck down the road and the music's blaring. That has to be a thing. That's got to be a thing in the game where you can fire up the ice cream truck and go riding down the road. Can you imagine Friday the 13th, again, going back to Friday the 13th, instead of hearing the car rolling by and you hear somebody honking at you to come out of the cabin to get into the car, imagine the same deal, but now you're hearing the ice cream truck music as it's rolling by and you're like, oh God. And so now the players are reacting to the ice cream truck the same way we did as kids back in the day, where you're running out of the house to go get some ice cream, except now you're running out of the house when you hear the music to get rescued so you can go leave. Like that's perfect. That's great. Developers, if you're hearing me and you hear this idea, I hope you've already thought of it already because it's too perfect. It's too good to just have the ice cream truck rolling down the road and everybody's running out. Wait for me, and that kind of deal going on. I hope that would just be perfect. Again, beautiful cabin, very Friday the 13th kind of vibes. I'm wondering if you can use the windows the same way, but I'm probably not, since the clowns will work much differently than Jason did. I'm assuming that the windows are probably not usable, but we won't know until time comes up. So we got Guy over here putting in the gas into this machine, and then they're going to operate the machine, open the door, and that is how you escape. I don't know where that goes, somewhere underground bunker, a secret underground bunker that helps them escape. I don't know, but it's cool that they have some of the Friday the 13th mechanics in here, going to get the gas, put the gas in the thing, and then I'm assuming they put in a code. They don't show it, but maybe there's got to be more than just putting in the gas. That's too easy. You know, you put the gas into this thing and it just opens up after some time. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe the clowns get alerted and they can come over there and stop it pretty quickly. Now, there is also a timer on top of this thing, so it doesn't stay open forever. It's gonna, like, kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Once it's open for a limited amount of time, and then it'll close, and then person's probably shit out of luck and they'll have to either wait for it to open again or they'll have to go get more gas and the thing only has a limited amount of uses. Shows a clown getting beat up right here. This kind of made me sad in a way because it reminds me of how Jason got beat up in Friday the 13th. Let's pray to the heavens, you guys, that the clowns can't get beat on like Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th. Randy is working on this game. He knows how much people hated that. And I'm assuming that if you do get beat up as a clown, that it's your own fault. You have to be prepared and ready for it. because they have weapons. You know, Jason's weapon consisted of only a melee item, and he's very slow. So the clowns have projectiles and traps and all these other things, and they have numbers. So it's probably not a good idea to go wandering off by yourself as a clown, because I would imagine if you are by yourself, you could get in a situation like this where you do get overwhelmed and then you get your butt kicked and things don't go well. And what I'm seeing here is the clowns get their butt kicked, but they don't die right away. You have to have somebody with a gun to follow up and shoot the nose off. So you could beat up the clown and that'll buy you some seconds, but if there's nobody there with a gun, I'm assuming you can't hit the nose with a melee weapon, or maybe an axe. I don't know, but I'm assuming you have to shoot it. So the person with the gun will shoot the clown and the clown dies. Now, if you guys remember back, the clowns don't die indefinitely. They kind of go on a cooldown and then they come back again. So the survivors are essentially just buying themselves some time and, they're getting the clown away from them so they can complete their objectives. But the clown is not dead indefinitely until the final part of the game, which is, that all that still has to be explained, the final part of the match. When the clowns do come back after getting killed, I wonder if they'll come back stronger than before. So essentially, like, if the survivors are just messing around on a map, hear me out. If the survivors are just messing around on the map and not completing objectives on purpose, and they're just beating up the clowns to, cause mischief and to try to make players mad, they're not completing anything, they're just killing the clowns. I think it is a very smart idea that after survivors kill a particular clown, when that clown comes back stronger. Think Jason Voorhees in the series of movies, right? Every time he dies, he kind of comes back stronger each time. So the clowns, if Shorty gets killed, you better watch out, because the next time you see him, he's going to be a menace. He's going to be a threat. He's not going to be so easy to kill, right? So that would take care of the problem of survivors not getting objectives done. They're just going around and beating up the clowns on purpose to see how much they could get away with. The clowns will get stronger. It is not possible. And then that pretty much ends out the trailer, you guys. This looks fun. Like, it looks like it's going to be great community fun. It looks like it's going to obviously have a way different vibe than DBD and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is good. They're not trying to do the exact same thing. That it has objectives and all that stuff, but that's just how these games work. I'm just happy that we're kind of going back to that Friday the 13th feel with the community vibes, and I hope it has proximity chat, since the maps are big. That way you can kind of hear people when they're around you. That way when you're alone, you feel isolated. And that was one of the cool points of Friday the 13th, is when you're alone, you feel isolated. There's nobody there to comfort you, talk to you, have a moment with. The only thing that's going to be there is the clowns if they find you. And, just stuff like that. This looks good. It looks like it's heading in the right direction. I like what I'm seeing. I really miss the vibes that Friday the 13th gave before it started to kind of go downhill. I hope that this game, when it comes out, it starts off like just the same way Friday did in the beta of Friday the 13th, where it was huge, it was fun, and over time, Illfonic needs to treat the game, Illfonic and Teravision. Now remember, you guys, Illfonic is the publisher, Teravision are the developers. Now I'm sure that both of these teams together, they both have developmental prowess. They are both very proficient at making games. So if Teravision and Illfonic combined nurse this game the same way Ghostbusters is being nursed, lots of content, lots of community events, this game will not falter like Friday the 13th started to do partway through its lifespan. As long as they nurse it and they listen to the community and they're giving the community what they want and they're pulling the surprises out, then this game will live longer than a year. I hope it goes for at least 3 years before people start getting tired of it. There's people that still play Friday the 13th today, you know, and it's been almost 10 years now. It's been 8 years. There's still people playing that game. So Teravision, Illfonic, Randy, everybody on the team, I wish you guys luck with this. June is not that far away. I don't know if there's going to be a beta. I really think it is a smart choice to run a beta to really see if people can exploit stuff that's going on in a match. But other than that, I'm excited for June 4th. Now, remember, you guys, if you pre-order the game, I think you get a week advance early access to it. So that's a cool thing as well. And that's pretty much it, you guys. Killer Klowns, June 4th, 2024. It's finally happening. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.